By the end of this video, you're going to be able to create the best possible website for your business with zero design or marketing experience needed. We're going to be using the absolute best and easiest drag and drop page builder, which is completely free and lets you easily control your website yourself. It can look like any of these professionally designed websites, and all it takes is about 20 minutes to get it done. So in this video, I'm going to show you where to get design inspiration when planning your new site, every step you'll need to follow to turn that inspiration into a fully functioning site that's live and online, and I'm going to be including the 5 things that every business website needs to bring in more business and help you make more money. So the first thing we need to get you set up with is an affordable hosting plan. So if you follow my link below in the description, or if you just go to wesmcdowell.com/hosting, we can get started. Okay, so if you followed that link, you'll wind up on a page like this. It may look different. They may change the design. You never know. But the point is you get all these inclusions, including a free domain for the first year, like a free.com for your business. That's great. So you can see when you use my discount, you get it for $199 a month right now. That's even better than usual. So this may be higher when you see it. If you see $199 a month, I would jump on that because it's normally $1 more than that. Anyway, going to click on Get Started Now. And then you can select your plan. Unless you have an online store or anything, or you have any kind of bigger needs, I would just go with basic. That's good enough for almost everybody. Skip. Okay, so now they're asking you if you have a domain you already use, like yourbusinessname.com. If that's the case, you would type it in here and then next. Or if you need to buy a new one, you would put in the name of your business or whatever you want to be your domain name. So you just type it in there and then click on next. And if it's available, it'll say that it's available and it's added to your cart for free. So you're just going to go through and you're going to fill in all your information here. You can choose your service term. I'm just going to stick with 12 months. All this stuff is free. Then there's add-ons. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck all of these add-ons. We don't really need them. And you've already got your 50% off here, so you don't need to do anything there. Then put in your information and click on, actually uncheck this, and then click on Submit. Okay, so the purchase went through and it took about a minute just to build out WordPress, and we wound up right here. So we're gonna skip over all of this stuff and we're just gonna go up to Exit to WordPress and click on Exit. Okay, so this is what your WordPress dashboard looks like. It may look a little different. There may be a few extra things over here. This may look different, but it's mostly gonna function the same. The first thing we need to do now is add in the plugin that's going to help us build our site. Now, plugins are just little things that extend the functionality of your WordPress website. So we're going to go down to plugins, then add new plugin. And we're going to go over here and we're going to type in starter templates. And this is the one you want right here. It's got 5 stars across the board, over 1 million installations. It works great. So let's click on Install Now and activate. And we're going to resist the urge to do the AI website builder. It doesn't work that great, to be honest with you. We're going to click on Build with Templates, and we're going to choose Elementor. So now you've got all of these options for templates that we can start from. I'm going to make it really easy on you though and just say use Hope. I've played around with this one a lot lately. It's very clean and it's the best one to kind of start fresh and build on. So we'll just click on that. We're going to worry about the logo later, so we'll click on Skip and Continue. Now, if you like any of these color schemes, you can go for it right now. You can just click on it and it's going to basically get you there in terms of button colors and all that good stuff. And here's where you can choose some font combinations. Don't worry, you're not locked into any of these. You can always change them one by one as we go. And I'm just going to click on Continue. And I'm going to skip filling this in and just submit and build my website. So here it just takes a couple minutes to bring in all the images, all the pages, and all that good stuff. So I'll be right back when it's done. Okay, so let's click on View Your Website. And here's what we've got. It's a really nice, clean looking website, and we can add anything to it. We can change any of the content. We can delete stuff we don't need. We can add new content blocks that we do need. It is incredibly customizable. So the next thing we're going to want to do is actually get a little bit of inspiration for you so that you kind of have something in mind in terms of colors, fonts, overall styles that you can draw from and use on your own site. So I am at this website called relume.io/showcase. It's one of my favorite places to go for inspiration. So just scroll down until something catches your eye in terms of colors, layout, anything like that you think would work good for your own website. And I think this one's really nice and clean. So let's just say we want to use this one. You can use whatever inspiration you want. I'm just going to click on Visit Live Site. So let's say we wanted to emulate this kind of look with these sections, these colors, super clean and simple. You would just want to have it open in another window as you build. So let's go ahead and go back to our website. Okay, so this is the view how other people are going to see it. So we're not in edit mode right now. The way to get to edit mode is we're going to go up top to where it says Edit with Elementor. Okay, so now we get to start customizing and really having some fun with this. And the way this works is there's all these different widgets over here, headings, images, things you can basically drag over here onto the stage area. And then once something is here, you can edit it over here. And it's a dark color, so it's hard to see. You can edit the style of it. Let's talk about the text color real fast so we can see it. You can change that. You can change the font to just about anything you want. Literally thousands of Google fonts are available. It's a lot to choose from, so you can really make this your own pretty quickly. But I'm going to go ahead and right-click Delete. So let's go about changing our headline first. So we're just going to click on it, and then we go over to the left sidebar, and this is where you would type in your headline, something like. And if we wanted to mimic the font that we have on our inspiration site, you can just kind of look at it and try to find something that's the most similar on Google Fonts. And then you would go up to Style, Typography, and here's where you would choose it. So I found it's called Space Grotesque. So we're just going to do that. We can change the weight of it in most cases. It can be bold, it can be normal, but I think I want it to be bold, so that looks good to me. We can change the size, make it bigger. We can change the line height, because right now, this is a little pro tip. This is something that happens a lot that I see where the line height is either too big or too small, and it just looks a little unfinished. So we can go to line height, and we can drag it to look exactly how we want it to look. I think this looks nice. And if we go to our inspiration site, we have a button that looks like this. It's just kind of a black background with a white border. So the way we edit buttons, let's go back. We're just going to click on the button. We can change the text here just by highlighting it and typing something else in. We can set the link here to another page. Just type in the URL where you want it to go. And of course, we can change the style to look like our inspiration site. So we're going to go up to Style, Typography. I will change that to our same Space Grotesque that we've been using. We could make it bolder if we wanted. We could make it all uppercase or all lowercase or anything like that if we wanted it to do that as well. We can space the letters out. We can get really creative with it. And then we can do background type classic. So you can do a gradient or you can do just a solid color. And then for color, I'm going to choose black, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to make it kind of a little transparent. You can slide this bar around to do that. Then in order to mimic this kind of like pill shape, the way we do that is we go down to border radius and we just crank that up. Once it gets to a certain point, it's just all rounded around it. And then border type, I'm going to do solid. And let's just kind of make this about that size, about 2 pixels. Looks pretty good to me. Now, whenever you want to get a true preview of what it's going to look like without all this and without the boxes around anything, just collapse the sidebar by clicking here. And now you can see what it's really going to look like, including with the header bar up top. So of course, we're going to want to change the background image, right? I mean, this one's pretty, but it's probably nothing to do with your business. Now you've got some options here. So I'm just going to click on the section. That's how we're going to control the background. We'll go up to Style and Image. You're going to click on Choose Image. Now you can bring in your own images you've taken yourself, your own stock images, or they've got a bunch of free images here. So you could type something like office, and you can filter, for that section, we wouldn't want something tall. We would want something that's longer like this. So you can filter it by horizontal, and there's definitely some good options here. But let's go one step further. I've been playing around with this a lot, and I am very impressed with the functionality with ChatGPT 4. The images you can create with this are absolutely beautiful when you do it right. So I'm just going to type in something like, make an image of a creative office space with black brick, wood accents, plants, and warm glowing lights. For you, it could be whatever kind of image you want to have here, right? Is it a family playing together in the park or an exterminator killing a spider? I don't know. Get creative with it. And then you just click on send message, and it just takes a minute to kind of come up with it. I mean, how beautiful is that? And I did forget to say it needs to be horizontal in orientation. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to say redo in landscape orientation and see what it comes back with here. So I got this beautiful image out of it. I just saved it and now I'm uploading it to that section. And it's looking pretty good, but you'll notice the text is a little hard to read. So here's a trick for you. So while we're still choosing the same section, we're going to collapse background. We're going to go to background overlay and choose classic for just a solid color. And I'm going to choose black. And then I'm just going to play around with the opacity until it gets to the point where the text is really easy to read, but you can still see the image underneath. So to me, this looks pretty good. Okay, so let's compare this now with our inspiration. So the one thing I notice here is it has this kind of like border around it, right, with a rounded edge. And we can do something similar like that if you want to. So all we would do is we would choose the entire section. And then under style, we're going to go down to border. We're going to choose a solid border. We're going to increase the width of it to get it to about to where we want it to be. That looks good to me. But you'll notice it's like a black or it's like a gray border. We want it to be white. So we'll just choose white as the color. And then border radius, remember, because it had kind of a round edge, we're just going to bump that up a bit. And let's see what that looks like. Not bad, right? Okay, and it's only taken us a few minutes to do this, by the way, including getting an image from nothing. And speaking of images, this is our must-have website inclusion for business number 1. So great images not only helps with the design of your website, which keeps people around longer, makes your site look more legitimate, all that stuff. It actually helps you tell a visually engaging story, which keeps people around even longer. So images are really important, and now you have a secret little tip to get all the images you want for free. So from here, we just want to move down the page and customize every single section. So, for this section, maybe we don't need this little bit right here, in which case we would right-click delete, or you could edit it, whatever you need. Right here, maybe we want to change this to just our services. And if we want it to match our fonts we already have, which we definitely would want to do, we'd go back up to Style, Typography, and we would choose the right font again. You can make it a little bit smaller if you want, whatever looks good to you. And remember, in our inspiration site, there is like a yellow color right here. So maybe we want to bring this color scheme in. We would just take this line, which by the way, of course, you could right-click delete if you didn't even want it, or we can just play with the style, choose the color, and just, choose whatever color you want. I happen to have the exact code for it right here. And by the way, whenever you have a color you want to save and you're going to reuse, just click the little plus icon and then it'll save it for you as a swatch to come back to you later. Now we just want to change each of these images one by one, so click on it, then go over to choose image, and then you just drag whatever images you have right onto the screen here. I already happen to have mine preloaded in, so I'm just going to choose this one, select, and I'm going to do the same for the other two. But now let's say you wanted these to be more square or just shorter if you want. So let's just click on each one here. I'm going to go to Style, and under Height, I'm just going to drag it to whatever height I think looks good. Maybe 320. And I could do the same with the other two, or I can just right-click on Copy, then right-click Paste Style, and right-click Paste Style again. It's just a really easy shortcut for you. And then we would just want to change each of these. So we click here, we can type in a different service, and we would change the description of it right here. And of course, we go to Style, Content, and then Title, where we would choose the right font again. We could make it a little smaller if we want to do that. And we could do the same for the description underneath. We might want to make that smaller. So under Description, Typography, I'm just going to bump that down to something more like that. Then once you get it looking the way you want, again, we're going to right-click Copy, right-click Paste Style, and one more time. Okay, now moving down, we've got a little testimonial section here, but if we want it to look more like how it is on our inspiration site, there may not be a one-to-one thing to look at, but maybe we just want to take the overall look that we're finding between the colors and the fonts and the overall treatments. So maybe something that looks a little bit more like this would be better for a testimonial for us. So the way we customize it, the way I would go about this is, first of all, getting rid of stuff we don't need, like this button. So right-click delete, whatever this little, these diamonds are, I'm going to right click, delete that as well. And I might just want to move this picture and name beneath. So all I'm doing is I'm clicking and dragging these elements to be where I want them to be. Then you just pop in the actual quote right here and make sure you actually put quote marks around it so it looks like it's a testimonial. And then we'll go to Style, Typography, and we will change it to our font. Under weight, I might bump it up to be a little bit bolder, maybe semi-bold. And to change the photo, you just click on that, choose image, and you would just drag in the person's image right here and click on the name to change it right here. And this green background's not really in keeping with our inspiration site. So we would just kind of want to get this color more or less. And you can usually just eyeball it. That's good enough. So I'm going to click on the section and then Style, Background Type, Classic, Color. And I'm just going to paste in the code I have here. Now, it still looks green, and I think that's probably because there's probably a background overlay on top of it. Yeah, it looks like there is. So I'm just going to click on this and then click on the clear. There we go, that got rid of it. So if anything ever looks weird, you just have to troubleshoot it a little bit, and it's usually to do with something like that. Now we've got like a little About Us section. So I want to show you a few different things we can do with this. So first of all, let's say you don't want it to be here on the page. What if you want it to be higher up on the page? Super easy to do. All we need to do is click right here where it's got these 6 little dots, and we just drag it to wherever we want it to be on the page. I'm going to put it right below the hero section between the top and our services. So really easy to move stuff around. It's also really easy to move columns and swap them out. So what if I wanted the image to be over here instead of over here? Well, all I gotta do is click on the column and drag it over to the side. And we already know how to click on each item and change the wording of it, change the type. Just gonna do that real quick. And then we probably don't need these buttons here because we just have them right up here. So I'm just gonna right click, delete, and same with this one, and probably with this information over here. If you want to just edit it, you know how to do that already. Let's just delete this one at a time. And then from there, change the image by clicking on it, choose image. I've got just the one right here. Beautiful, looking pretty good, right? So going down the page, we've got everything here. Okay, and we'll quickly style up this call to action section. You know, if we want to change the text to something like ready to get started, and we'll change the font, of course. Make it a bit smaller, and we'll change this. And now the button, maybe we want this to be yellow to go with our inspiration site. So we'll go over to Style, we'll keep background type on Classic, and whenever you have a saved color, remember we saved the yellow, you'll go over to this little globe icon where it says Custom, and this is where it saves all of those colors for you. Now the Get in Touch button is hard to read, so we need to change the type color, or text color as they call it. So I'm going to click right here and just choose black. And then we probably want it to match the button style with the kind of circle edges. So I'm going to do border radius. I'm just going to like pad that up all the way until it's round completely. And then if we look at our inspiration site, there's some like black sections. So I'm just going to go ahead and change this background, get rid of the image, go to Style, and on Choose Image, right up here, I'm going to hit the little trash can icon. That's how you get rid of an image. And then I will go to Color, and I will choose black. So this is looking pretty good, but I do need to show you one more thing you need to be able to do. Because what if you need to add another section, right? You don't have everything covered here. So there are a couple ways of doing this, and I'm going to show you both ways right now. So first of all, you just figure out where you want the new section to go. In our case, between our services and testimonials. So right here, I'm just going to click on the plus icon. And maybe we want a section like this, right? That has, statistics about how you've helped your customers in the past. So there's a few ways to do this. The first way is to add a block, a pre-made block. This is almost always going to be preferable if you can find the block you want. It just makes it a lot easier when it comes time to getting it ready for mobile because they've kind of thought of everything already. So to do that, we're going to click on this little S icon here, and then we're going to go to blocks. So this has like all these different section blocks. There's a ton of them. It can get a little overwhelming. That's why it's usually good to search for them over here in the filters. So they do have one called statistics for this particular purpose. So the thing to remember is they all look super boring because they're just black and white, but you can obviously customize them up however you want. We've already seen how to do that. So I would say if we're trying to go for something like this, I would choose this guy right here and then click on import block. Let me just get rid of this. And so this is what it looks like. And obviously we click each thing, we customize it. You can get rid of the icons if you don't want those because our inspiration does not have them. You would just remove it and you would do the same for each. You'd change the font, all that good stuff. We already know how to customize stuff that's already there. But what we don't know how to do, let's say you can't find the right looking block out of all those choices. Well, you can make one from scratch too. So I'm going to delete this section by clicking the X, and I'm going to click on the plus icon again, but this time I'm going to click on this plus icon. This gives us a completely from scratch section. So you can choose 2 columns, you can choose all these different layouts they have here. I'm just going to choose this one right here where I can add individual elements that will all just go side by side. If I chose this one, individual elements would stack top to bottom. So I'm going to click right here. And this is how you're going to add new elements. So you're going to go up to this little grid, and here's where all the different widgets are. There's a lot of free ones, and then there's some paid ones. So anything under Pro, you'd have to have Elementor Pro to do. So I'm going to type in counter. I'm going to take the counter, and I'm going to drag it right in there. Okay, so see what that does? And since we need 4 of them, I'm just going to right-click, duplicate, and I'm just going to do that a few times here till we have 4 of them. Then for each one, you're just going to customize what it needs to be. Like maybe it's, 81. And then if it's a percentage, you would have the % sign as the suffix. That means it comes after. Or maybe for this one, it's going to be, 7,000, and then it's going to be dollars before it. I don't know, whatever it needs to be for you. And then what we need to do, obviously, this doesn't look so great. They're too close together. They're not spaced out. So we're going to choose the section, and then we're going to go under justify content, and we can play around with it here. So we can do center, we can do space between, space around. I think this looks pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and style our first one. Just click on it, go up to style. And again, we want it to look as close to this inspiration as possible. So we go to typography, I'm going to use our space font, and I'm going to make it a little smaller because our inspiration site has smaller text. And then for the title, which is a cool number here, I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to change the text color to white for that, as well as for the number text color white. Again, I'm not going to do the same thing in all these. All I'm going to do is right-click copy, right-click paste style, and again, and one more time. Then I'm going to go ahead and make the background black. So choose the section, go up to style, background type classic, and then choose the color and just black. So how do you think this looks right now? So this is actually going to be our business website inclusion must-have number 2, which is plenty of space. So you'll notice on our inspiration site, there's lots of space here. It feels nice. It feels like your eye can rest as you go down the page. Now, almost every section block that's pre-made will come made with this kind of space. But this one doesn't. We have to make it ourselves. So how do we do that? Well, we choose the section, we go up to advanced, don't let that worry you, it's not that hard, and we're going to go right down to padding. So padding is the space between the top of this number and the top of the section. So right now, it's really tight padding, and it's pretty tight underneath it too. So one thing you'll notice, so let's say I type in 100 here, it's going to do it all the way around, including on the sides. It's not always needed. In this case, it actually works just fine. If you ever want to just do something different on the top and bottom, all you have to do is unlink the values right here, and then you could have like on the top, you could have something like 300 if you wanted. That's too much, but you get what I'm saying. So let's just put that back to 100, and I'm actually going on the right and the left. I'm going to put that down to 0, just because I think it's going to look weird when it comes time to making it look good for mobile. Okay, so that's how you add a new section from scratch. Now let's get to website inclusion must-have number 3. And that is an easy way for people to book your services. So yes, you could just have a button here that says get in touch. They could fill out a form, but I recommend going one step further and using a free tool like Calendly, which lets people actually just book something. They can work with your calendar, they can choose a time that works for both of you, and then they just get on your calendar, you give them a call back whenever they've decided to do it. Now, I'm not going to walk you through every step of putting this together. It only takes about 10 minutes, and if you're interested, I will link to another video I made that will teach you exactly how to use Calendly and get set up with an event like this. But once you've got it, just come right up here to where it says Share, then Add to Website. Then there's a few different ways of doing this, but I'm going to do it as an inline embed, so you'll see what that means in a second. Just click there and continue. And there's only a couple things to choose here, but one is to change your button color if you want it to go with your branding. So let's just go ahead and make it the yellow color that we already have established here, and then copy code. And don't let the code scare you. It's super easy to actually add this. So going back to our site, I'm going to right-click delete this button. I'm going to go up here to the little grid, and I'm going to type in HTML. And I'm just going to drag this HTML guy right here. Now, all you got to do is paste the code that you just copied, and look at that. So we have the little booking area right here inside of our website. So that lets people click on a day and a time that works for them. Then they just put in their information and they schedule their event. So going up to the top, I think this looks really nice, but we're only on desktop right now, right? It has to look good on mobile too. Over half of your traffic is likely going to come from a mobile device. So the good news is we shouldn't have too much to do, but there's probably a few things to take care of. So what you want to do is go down to this little tiny icon where it says responsive mode. Click that. Then you want to go up to the mobile device. Okay, so let's start up at the top. And just like with desktop, if you ever want to get a true view of what it's actually going to look like, collapse this right here. Now, this is what we're going to be dealing with. So right away, I can tell we need to take care of a few things in the hero section. The first is going to be to get rid of this gap and maybe make the text a little bit bigger. So we're just going to click on the text, go to Style, and then under Typography. And you'll notice, by the way, a lot of these different things you can change. If they have the little mobile device next to it, that means whatever you're about to change only gets changed for mobile. So it's going to remain unchanged on desktop. So we can go ahead and make this look as good as we want to on mobile, and the desktop view will look the same. So line height is another thing we definitely want to fix here. So I'm just going to drag that down to where it looks, pretty good. To me, I like this. Let's take a look. And don't worry, we will be getting to the header part a little later in this video. And then we just want to go through bit by bit and just make any changes that are needed. To me, all of this looks pretty good so far. I'm not seeing anything that sticks out. Like even this looks really good, and we added that from scratch, so that's pretty good. A lot of times, any block that you add from scratch, you're gonna have to do a little bit more work to it, but this looks nice. And we still got our booking widget here looking pretty good. And having it look good on mobile, by the way, that is inclusion number 4 for every business website. Okay, so to get out of responsive mode, we're just going to click right up here to close it. Now, that is one page out of the way. So before you're done, you're definitely going to want to click on Update right down here. Otherwise, your work is likely to not get saved. I've been there. It sucks when you did a lot of work and it's just gone. So make sure you do that. Then the way we're going to get to the next page, just click on the little preview changes icon right here. It's a little eyeball. And then you would just go to the next page in the menu. In this case, it's about. You'd click on Edit with Elementor. And now you're editing this page. And it's done the exact same way. Just go bit by bit, changing sections around, deleting sections you want, adding and customizing the ones you do. You know the drill by now, so I'm not going to go through every single section. Okay, but what about, we collapse this, what about our header, right? We have somebody else's logo here. These aren't really our fonts, and this is a green color. So how do we change this? Well, we do this a little differently than everything else. We don't do it inside of this Elementor page builder. So I'm just going to click on this little icon right up in the top left and then go to exit. So now we're back in the WordPress dashboard. So there's a difference there. This is the WordPress dashboard. Where we've been all along is the Elementor dashboard. So what we need to do to edit the header, we're going to go over to the left sidebar and go to Appearance, Customize. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Header Builder. Just to see what we've got going on here, we have a logo, we have a menu, and we have a button. So let's say we wanted to get rid of something like the button. You can just click on the X to remove it. Now to change our logo, we're just going to click right here. And this is saying the logo on this page is set from the transparent header section because it is a transparent header. It goes on top of the image. So we're going to click on Customize Transparent Header. This is the logo we currently have, this little dove. So I'm just going to click on Change Image. And what generally works best is to have another image that's kind of white that's going to look really good on top of that. And I've got a new logo file and I'm just going to drag right here from my desktop and then click on Choose Image. And it's really small, right? So logo width, we can just play around with that, just with this little slider. And that looks pretty good to me. Now, what about the primary menu? So it's not our font that we've been using. So we just want to choose it and then go to Design. And from here, we can change things like the text colors if we want to do that. But I'm going to go under Font, Menu Font, and I'm just going to type in our same font that we've been using. And if we want to make it a little bolder, we can do that. I think it's looking pretty good, but we need to do a responsive check here as well. So let's go down, right down here, it has mobile phone icon. I'm going to click on that. So we've got this green color here. How do we change that? I will click on that. So this is what things are going to look like. It's green text. It doesn't really go with our theme. So I'm going to click on Toggle Button. And here's where you can change the icon of it. Here, let me close this out really quick so you can see. You can change the little icon for it. It can be 3 skinny lines or fatter lines or 3 dots. And if I go to Design, I can change our background color to our yellow, just like that. Or I could even just change it to black if that looks cleaner, which I happen to think it does. And when you're happy with the way it looks, just click Publish. So that's physically creating a website, but that brings us to website must-have number 5, customer generating content. You know that the right website can help you turn more of today's cold website visitors into tomorrow's clients, but how? I'm saving a seat for you in my free masterclass where I'm just gonna tell you everything your website needs to include, say, and what you have to leave out if you want to automate sales and leads with your website. So head over to wesmcdowell.com/training or just follow the link below in the description to get immediate access. So this is the stuff that's going to take your website from here to here. All you got to do is apply it. So just go to wesmcdowell.com/training and I'm going to send you your access right away.